Hello.
I like how you put that. Away. All right, here we are. Welcome everyone. So we'll do roll call. We have Chair Matsuda
Here.
and Vice Chair Francisco, Commissioner Oman,
Here.
Commissioner Osio,
Here.
Commissioner Courtney,
Yes.
and no Commissioner Pottinger, and Council Liaison Murray. I'm here.
And we move to Trish's absence.
I'll second.
Okay. Yeah.
I move to excuse her Patricia's absence. I'll second.
And moved and seconded to accept Patricia Pottinger's absence for this evening. All in favor? All opposed? One against. Motion carries. All right. Carolyn.
We don't have any public comments.
Okay. We'll see in a minute. I'll accept the motion to approve the minutes from last month.
I move to approve the minutes from last month.
I second.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes from last month. All in favor? Against? Motion carries. Thank you. And Councilmember Murray.
Thank you. So I read I have 10 minutes on the agenda, so be prepared and get comfortable. No. I'll try not to take the full 10 minutes, but now that we're starting a little earlier, I will also try to be a little bit more, I guess, comprehensive in what I'm talking about. So some things I thought might be helpful to share with the group. So last month I had mentioned that I'd heard that Edmonds might be interested in partnering around Pride-related events in the future. What I've learned since that I didn't know, and maybe others sure did, but is that Edmonds has suspended their Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility Commission this year next, at least as part of kind of the process of navigating the budget challenge. And so share that for a couple of reasons. One, there's a newly created Edmonds Pride organization that, you know, I think as we think about future partnership, probably would be helpful to connect with. They have a bunch of events that they're putting on in June, and they've got a website and all sorts of good stuff there. I think it's also a really good reminder, though, of the importance of paying attention to budget conversations, right? And so we are, you know, in a place where we are embarking in our own kind of look at our budget and how we, you know, take a look at revenue and expenditures and continue to like try to provide things, you know, that are essential to the community. But what essential means gets harder and harder to define as budgets get more and more challenging, which I'd imagine is probably how Edmonds ended up where they are. And so I think it's just worthwhile to really, you know, pay attention to those conversations. We will have somebody here in the room who will be participating in that group. Commissioner Onad, if folks weren't aware, is one of the folks from the community who applied and was appointed to that. So grateful that he's willing to serve. But it's also going to be open to the public, right? So we'd welcome you to pay attention to what's going on, invite the community to pay attention to what's going on. The goal is really to ensure that we've got feedback and community engagement and input about budget, because budget really does impact everything we do as a city, right? And so we just encourage folks to pay attention. I don't think those dates have I know they're supposed to start in June, but I think it'll be late July. Late July. Okay. All right, we got a little bit of time. No specific dates yet, right, on that.
Oh, yeah, there's just again.
Oh, is there specific
I
dates?
put them all on my calendar. But there was a
Okay.
yeah, there's
Okay, all right. So keep an eye out. I don't know what those are, but they're coming. So,
How long is the term?
I think we're like 5 meetings or something.
Okay.
yeah, it's gonna be a fairly short period of time with the goal of then informing our budget conversations the next year as we go into our next biennium budget planning process. So it seems like it's far away, given we're only in May and we've got a budget that goes to the end of 2026, but it goes quick in government years. And so, yeah, as I say, they will have hopefully some recommendations that'll come back to the community.
Did we get 5 people?
Oh, no, there's 15 folks. There was, I think, almost 30 applicants, if I'm
Wow.
recalling correctly.
Wow.
The city staff did a
That's
really
great.
good job of being thoughtful around kind of looking at what are different, kind of populations and constituency within the community to ensure that ideally we have really a diversity of perspectives that are going to be coming to the table. So I appreciated all of their upfront work to do that. So no, I was going to say there is a full group, and so 15,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
And really the reason that it's not just everyone that applied is it's important that they can have meaningful conversations, just like commissions, where, if you have too many folks, it can be really hard to be able to give everybody time and space to participate in the conversation. But again, that doesn't mean that other folks who are interested in the process can't participate. So in terms of a member of the public, so definitely, keep an eye out for that. So I think that's all I have on that, unless anybody has questions, or those that Carolyn and Sean might be better resources, but I guess I wanted to flag the connectivity, particularly, to the work that you do, and the importance of budgets, in being able to continue to do that we are doing. So, all right, with that, my next item on here, I had a chance to go to the Snohomish County update today and ran into Will Johnson, and I just wanted to make sure that we have met. Okay, I assume probably that he's the chief equity or diversity, equity, and inclusion officer for the county, and so I shared some of our upcoming events with him, and he's, I think, going to attend our Juneteenth event, which was exciting to hear. So
He's been in our meetings.
awesome, yeah. So I was gonna say, somebody I think worthwhile if you haven't had a chance to meet him. Hopefully, when he's here in person, I think the opportunity to do so would be great. And I think this is the first time he'll have been to Mountlake Terrace, is what he was saying. So I think it would be great to make sure that he gets a warm welcome and invite him and the county to come back and continue to partner with us on things. Carolyn stuff. Carolyn, did you want to talk? I saw Jennifer's email just as I was kind of heading over here about boards and commission applications. Are you going to talk about that as part of your
little
update today?
bit,
Okay. Yeah. Okay, well then I'll leave that to your staff.
Yeah.
So the only other thing I have on my list that I wanted to make sure that I flagged for you, and some of you may have already seen conversations in the community around it, is we are, as a council, are looking at a product called Flock, which is a license plate reader system and a software technology that partners with that system. So we've had 2 council meetings around it thus far, some pretty robust debate, I guess is maybe my, trying to be neutral way of presenting it here to you as a group. But we had public comment at the last meeting. We're actually going to vote on it at the last meeting. We had public comment from Sam Doyle, who some of you may know, she used to serve on this commission, expressing her concerns. And because of those concerns, it was suggested that we delay voting with the goal of really engaging with the community to better understand the community's perspective. And so I thought the city did a good job. I haven't really had a chance to look at it, but I saw that they did, some outreach today around soliciting feedback from the community. And so I think anything you guys can do to help encourage folks to check that out, I think would be really helpful. It is on the agenda for. Already, I know I was gonna say it was just so that's kind of I haven't had a chance to fully take a look at things, but I wanted to flag it for folks. So it's on our June 5th meeting agenda, so there's a little bit of time. We meet at 7 o'clock at City Hall, but really we're looking for feedback from the community. So the city shared some information today, and there's information if you take a look at our last agenda in terms of kind of more information about the product. Different ways that you can provide feedback. I think that's probably one of the ways that you can be helpful. I think people regularly get frustrated or confused, around kind of how they can participate in the conversation. And so I think particularly if you hear about people like having thoughts about it or see people engaging in conversation about it online, I think reminding them how they can provide that feedback directly to the city is really, really helpful. And so there's 3 ways that they can do that. Well, there's kind of 4. But they can do that in writing, right? And that needs to, especially if they're going to email it in, has to be in by 4 o'clock the day of the meeting. So they need to plan ahead a little bit, although that's one of the later mechanisms for them to plug in. If they want to do Zoom, if they want to attend the meeting, but not be in person, they can do that via Zoom or via phone. And for that, though, they have to sign up 24 hours ahead of time. There's a form that they need to fill out, and then there's actually like a process that they have to confirm after they've been reached out to with the information. And so it's important that if they're doing that, they need to plan ahead. And then they also need to make sure that they're keeping an eye on their email because there's a process to it. And then they can also just show up in person so that's the least complicated, but also the hardest sometimes for folks. So I think particularly if folks can't be there in person, but want to provide feedback, making sure that they understand the parameters around providing public comment the other ways, I think is really helpful. So, and I will just say they don't have to wait till day of to provide written comment. If they ever, and in fact, it's sometimes helpful to get it sooner rather than later as the council members. We have more time. Wanted to just flag that for folks.
Can community members just email the council directly?
Always.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and
so if they have feedback and they want to just send it to, I know Aaron or I know Steve, I want to just send my thoughts to them.
Yeah.
Is that also okay? Then it's not public record, but it's imparting their feedback. Well, public record, it's different. It's not public record.
I was going to say it wouldn't be public comment per se. Yes. But if you wanted to, you absolutely could. I will say the only, and if you have watched the coverage and I guess had specific feedback for somebody, that might be helpful. I will say if it's general feedback though, I think there is value in the entire council seeing the same information. I think there's probably enough spaces where we are navigating with different experiences within life and community already. So I think the more that, we can hear from folks who are not within our circles, I think oftentimes it's actually one of the really valuable parts of public comment, is that, like I may have somebody who I know what their perspective is, right? And they shared that with me, or I could perhaps know what that is based on previous conversations. But the whole council may not know that. And so I think it can be really helpful if you're willing. But yes, if it comes down to like you have a certain level of comfort, like please, like you can always reach out to any of us council members as individuals at any time for including that.
I'm sorry if I missed this. Do we know where the cameras are going to be located, or is this just a general discussion?
So I have not seen a specific map. I've heard that they're kind of the higher traffic parts of the community where we think folks are generally coming in and out of the community, but 9 cameras was my understanding of what the total number of cameras is. But no, I don't, I was going to say it's a good question, but I don't think that is, Carolyn, you can correct me if you remember differently, but I don't recall, so I asked about camera placement.
I asked that question when I was reviewing the staff report before it went to council, and I was told by police that they don't publish that because they don't want people to know.
For to avoid.
Right. So, but yeah, generally they be in some meetings.
But these, my understanding was that these are not going to be for speed ticketing. This is just for safety.
I was going to say, yeah. So
yeah.
what they are is they are a 6 camera that takes pictures of the back. Use learning and other things to pull that information into a database that can.
So it's continuous. They're taking a picture of every license plate that goes by, and then if there's an issue like lost child or there's someone on the loose and they know the car that they're looking for, then they go through the database to see if they went down that street.
And it's not like they can just access the database anytime for whatever they want. There's like a warrant type process. There's not. So that's different from when the original presentation was made.
I was gonna say, we'll get into it, I was
Okay,
gonna say,
Okay,
probably
cool.
more than we should do this.
Thank you.
I will
Okay,
say,
okay.
there is a form that, I mean, essentially they fill out a search that includes a field that would be a case number. Internally, we would audit that based on our case numbers.
Okay.
What folks do outside of, it's not just access for our police force,
Oh,
but it's, access beyond to other users of Flock.
Oh,
I think
So-
other agencies.
Says a lot.
That adds to the context to share out for people to find more.
Yeah, I will say it is complex.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the real challenges. And so, yeah, I would encourage folks to, if you have the capacity to spend some time with it, I think there's value there in helping.
it's commendable that the city is actually asking for it.
Oh. Appreciate that. I mean, to be fair, we always want feedback, but I know that sometimes if we don't say that, and I think I don't know how to navigate that, and maybe that's something we can work on more, but like, we always want feedback, literally, everything that's on our agenda, if you have thoughts on it, we want to hear that. But you're right, we don't often directly ask for it, and I think that inviting people into the process is different than assuming that if people have thoughts, they will share them. So I think that's a good, I'm gonna include that in my report back to council for this meeting, so. All right, I've probably taken up my 10 minutes and then, I'm sorry, guys.
Proclamations.
All right, so we are on proclamations, and there are handouts at the end of the table if you didn't grab them. The first one is for LGBTQAI+ month,
Oh, that's, I can.
and please let me know if you have any suggested changes to the proclamation.
And the fourth, whereas, since the 1969,
Thank you. Maybe we could just say since 1969.
yeah,
I move to, we don't approve, we just recommend, right? I move to recommend this proclamation as is, with that little correction.
good enough for everyone?
I second that.
I'll second, okay, good. Moved and seconded to accept it with the correction. Whereas.
We need a vote.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Favor.
Yeah, all in favor? Disagreement?
All right, and then just, on that one, I'm talking to someone in the community who represents this group who may accept the proclamation, and just reaching out to others in the community, so I'm hoping to hear back from them next week. And that person applied to be on the commission, so. If I don't hear back, are there any other ideas of who we should give the proclamation? I'm hoping I will, they've been responsive.
So they're not in Mountlake Terrace, but Rowan, the city of Edmond, from their DEI commission. And they're celebrating all of their events as a secondary potential. They're inviting the wider community.
Yeah, and we can acknowledge that. Thank you. All right, the next one is Juneteenth.
It's a little pity, but just the spacing is 5 squares, the fifth one.
Oh, yeah, I tried to fix that. I'll get Jennifer on.
Yeah, I read these.
It's like justified, that one, it's like,
Well, they're all justified, but that one looks really weird. I think there's just not enough words.
Some cities in their proclamations, in the last paragraph, they say something like, we invite our community to come to,
Oh, yeah.
just a suggestion, either
I
or.
think that's a great idea.
Yeah. So we could say, go ahead.
input into our community and invite others to.
And invite our community to join us in celebrating Juneteenth more than a day. You do that one?
Co-sponsored with.
Yeah.
Snow Isle Library.
Invite our community. Join us.
In
Or join the
celebration.
celebration.
Yeah, join us in celebration of Juneteenth. More than a day, co-sponsored by Snow Isle Library. Sorry. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Who's primary?
Snow Isle.
Oh, so co-sponsored with Snow Isle.
Yeah.
Okay. So the city of Mountlake Terrace officially observes holidays and cultural and historical importance to our community, and invite our community to join. Maybe we could just get rid of the first part. The city of Mountlake Terrace invites our community to join. Okay. Trying to make this less wordy so people have to read it. The city of Mountlake Terrace invites our community to join a celebration of Juneteenth more than a day, co-sponsored with Snow Isle Libraries on Civic Campus on Father's Day, June 15th, between 11 and 3, featuring a panel discussion about father figures in many communities.
I like.
Okay, that works. All right.
To approve as assessed.
A second.
Moved and seconded to approve the Juneteenth proclamation with the amendments. All in favor? Unanimous.
All right. So Andrew and I were chatting about this one. I know Andrew and Teresa have been involved in the planning committee about Juneteenth. And what do you think about honoring the key people on the planning committee? So that would be
Isaac.
Isaac, Terry,
Yeah.
Raleigh, Olympia,
Alicia,
Alicia.
and Steve.
Yeah.
So Wally, Terry, Olympia, Alicia, Steve Woodard, and Isaac. Any objections to that? That's great.
Councilman Woodard will be the keynote speaker.
What about Vanessa? Oh, she's part of the library. Okay. All right, and then we have one more. This is a new one. So definitely give me some feedback. back on this. Disability pride.
Oh. I thought it was in December.
Well, I might have
No, that makes
listed
sense.
the wrong,
That makes sense.
there's a lot of different
Yeah.
disabilities.
Oh, yeah, I think it's a December disability awareness.
And we could do that if you want.
No, no.
This might be because English is my second language, but this sounds weird. This is a time for the disability community. The disability community? Is that a term?
Mhm.
No.
Within the disability community, they promote using people first. So disability community would be a community of people.
That sounds more natural to my.
Or people with disabilities.
Community of people with disabilities.
And then it can be who person specific.
Yeah.
Some people prefer the other way, and then it gets into personal preference. Yeah.
And so you'd wanna change it also on that fifth whereas also.
Yeah, wherever there is
Oh.
disability community.
Mhm.
We're, sorry, I have the fifth whereas,
There's a second whereas.
Yeah. That's, I thought we were talking
Oh,
about
I
the second one.
time for,
Yeah.
so this is a month, this month is a time for people with disabilities or community of people with disabilities.
Community of people.
Community of people with disabilities.
And the time for the community, is it the community or community?
For that community of people with disabilities.
Or
It could be the, or it could be our.
Wherever.
Looks like that last whereas also has one.
Yeah,
Yes. So it's correct in that first paragraph.
People with disabilities. Do we want community in all of these things, or do we want to just say people with disabilities?
My vote is for people with disabilities. Community sounds weird, as if it's like an ethnic group or something.
Yeah.
But I like, yeah, but it's the last whereas where the city supports staff and community members representing.
Yeah. Community.
Because the community in that first part covers it. It's inviting people in.
So keep the last whereas. Although I have community like 4 times.
Yeah, no, pull it from later on, but leave it where in the front, the staff and community members representing. Staff and community members
People with disabilities.
representing
Representing people with disabilities. That'll be fine.
yeah, representing people with disabilities. Supports the work of community-based organizations in Snohomish County.
Yeah, there's another.
Court.
I mean,
We don't
we
need the who.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I think
and
we do need
Snohomish
that.
County period, yeah, or comma.
Alright, so first whereas is okay. The second whereas, this month is a time for the community of people with disabilities to embrace their identities, ... And then the fifth one, whereas this is a time for the community of people with disabilities to come together, ...
Mhm.
And then the last whereas, the city supports staff and community members representing people with disabilities and supports the work of community-based organizations in Snohomish County. Or disability
Snohomish, of community-based organizations in Snohomish County.
But should that CDO, should it be disability advocates or something? Or rights, disability
Could be
Because
community-based
community-based
organization.
organizations is pretty generic.
Yeah,
That supports the work of organizations
Yeah. Of organizations
in Snohomish County.
in Snohomish County. Supporting disability, advocating for,
Who advocates for,
Who advocates for inclusion?
advocates for,
Awareness?
well, it's usually right, like, this is like rights. And, well, they do advocacy work. I was just looking up a bunch of them. To advocate for,
who does, related advocacy work? Related, like,
there's an
relevant.
organization called ARC, and then there's, Snohomish County, and I have a list of them now from this person that I'm talking to. Like, five different organizations. Do the work. So, let me,
Does it really support the staff, these people, no advocacy work? Or is it just, are we just saying it?
I'm sorry.
Does it really support the staff? Or is it just the PR stuff?
Well, we emotionally support them. We're not financially supporting them at this point in time.
It doesn't have to be financial, but
Yeah.
for example, does it just provide them, use some organizations, like they give volunteer hours? Does the city at least do something like that?
We haven't really stepped into the work of.
And we should not say this.
So does the city support staff as legally required for accommodation? Yeah.
Oh, because we were talking about the advocacy work and community.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I would say the city, there's some things we are working on, like physical ADA access, language access. I mean, there's things we're working on. I would say when when it comes down to like human services related work, no. We don't have that.
And this is the other part because of the legal requirement. So you cannot say, hey, I'm paying you for your work, for your salary, that you're required to pay me, right? The ADA is also a requirement for the city. So, and if I were an employee here, I would get irritated, say, hey, don't brag about the thing that you have to do. Yeah. So, no, so.
So do you want to remove the last whereas or change language to something a little bit different?
it's different from the rest of the whereas.
Okay.
This is supporting the work of community-based organizations. But we advocate for the work that you do. This is necessary work.
Yeah, we could say we respect the word. Or we could just remove that word.
Is there history about how this has come up, or was this on our list?
It was on the list that, you know.
Okay, so then, is there an effort? You know, so a long time ago, we were doing the feedback papers, and people were talking about like the chairs at Terrace and National Night Out, and having them be more accessible. So, are we doing some of that? And is that something that we could celebrate along with this proclamation, or are we not there yet?
I don't think we can act on something like that quickly. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think this is something that is important to the community. When I talk about what we heard from the community, disability is one of the groups that people want represented in our strategic plan. I think it's the thing that we as a group know the least amount about. And so we could say something about the city /DEI commission we'll be working to educate ourselves more about disability issues, advocacy, and so
It
forth.
would be a nice commitment. Because we didn't even have community discussions with, for people with disabilities.
Good, because that's the person.
Oh, so it was just a small.
They came to a,
Somebody came to an event. It wasn't like this.
Okay,
we
that's
didn't,
what I meant.
right, we didn't hold a specific
Yeah,
event
yeah.
for every community.
It would have been, it would be nice to have one for people. Because I don't know what it is like to be disabled in like Terrace.
Coming up with it. The city and the DEI Commission are committed to learning more about how to support people with disabilities.
Yeah,
You want to keep it the same as the previous statements, communities of those with disabilities.
Community, about how to support the community of people with disabilities. Thank you. Right. City, that's the last whereas. Whereas the city and DEI Commission are committed to learning more about how to support the community of people with disabilities. And then now therefore.
I move to recommend this proclamation with this amendment.
Also, moved and seconded to accept the updated version of the City Pride Month proclamation. Those in favor? Unanimous.
This will be a harder one. Who would we like to receive this?
How about that person that said that they reached out?
They might do the pride. But they sent me like that list of organizations in Snohomish County that do.
It's called ARC,
Yeah.
because ARC has been supporting the special ed PTA commission. And then a non-sequitur. They're green, and all of the green right behind you is like picturesque.
Yeah.
With a little bit of pink.
Yeah. It's just like, it looks like a blue street, like, yeah. I looked up.
The benefit of being a PhD student.
All right.
Thank you for your work on this, Carolyn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this would be a great group if we can get a group of people for our community conversation.
Mhm.
Okay. Good planning. All right, so we've got posters for Pride Month and Juneteenth now. If you need more, let me know. We're doing flag raising, council members will speak. I'll be getting more desserts than last year. We're gonna have a little music in the plaza, bring your lunch and hang out. And next year, maybe we'll do something with Edmund that will make that connection with Rowan. Juneteenth, anyone want to give any updates?
Do you have any?
Well, not since I talked to you last, but I spoke with the art teacher about doing she's working on that. I need to, check in with her. Again, have you heard from her, Amber?
Crickets.
Okay, I better,
SBA testing for sophomores.
yeah. Well, I better check in with her then,
So
see what's
then,
happening.
it sounds like there's 2 panels of discussion. That Project Girl is doing activities for you
Right?
in the small room over at the library.
That may move outside.
Yes.
And Scott is doing a photo booth.
Again,
Wow.
A big fan.
It's food trucks, the keynote speaker, music.
We'll have the tickets at the DEI table. Douglas from Glenwood DEI is gonna share our table with
Oh,
us.
good. Great.
And, yeah, so and anybody else that would like to, that's DEI or, you know, so maybe Will stop by our booth. And, oh, I also talked to, Rebecca Brazil about, students, well, I emailed back and forth.
oh, yeah.
About students helping, and she said she'd reach out to that Black Student Union, but I haven't heard back from her again either.
She's not at the school very often anymore. She's at
No, I understand that. I understand that, but I couldn't get anybody to, you know, and so, so actually, Carla, the art teacher, reached out to her for me, and so then Tribeca contacted me, and so, really, I just need a list of names of students, and, you know, I outlined what they would be helping with, which would be basically helping people find things around the area, maybe helping, keep an eye on comes and goings from the bathroom. They could be at our booth, they could, be in with the panel discussion. I did tell her we aren't having a student panel this year, but, anyway, so, but yes, I will check on that.
maybe maybe sign up geniuses for,
Oh, I don't know how to do a
Yeah,
sign up genius.
so,
Well, for some people. Yeah, I kind of struggle with that. Sure. Sure.
Because kids get hassled to fill that out if they don't want to go to the auditorium. They have to,
Okay.
they have to fill out the sentence.
Well, and I know that
So-
they're more likely to respond on some kind of a tech platform than, you know,
And then,
somebody just asking them, hey, can you do this, or are you interested in doing this?
and then it emails them a reminder to do it.
So who would we send it to? I don't have a list of students.
I think we have a list
Of the BSU?
of like some of the leaders from BSU, LSU, the
Okay.
newspaper,
We can ask them to supervision.
and a couple, like 3 of the staff members.
Okay.
So their principal is leaving at the end of the school year. So that just was announced last week, and I think it's going to start in the term. So I have to find him in school year. He accepted his job, his like dream job. Brittany was enthusiastic. They commute from Ballard and.
Well, I'm gonna,
found that job and-
as far as the art teacher goes, I'm gonna check in with her and see when I can call her again, because that's what I did before I asked her what would be good to call her. And I'll call her, because,
I haven't gotten any response for what she needs out of it for her. We just told her.
right,
So I need for it.
I wonder too if Project Girl has anything additional. Both of these two volunteers.
Well, that's what we're waiting on to see what the school does. So if they have a ton, and we don't just want people to come and feel like they are just standing around.
well, we didn't really have a ton last year,
No.
but,
Do we know how many volunteers? We have like tasks.
the tasks aren't really very specific, 'cause
I mean, eight would be fine, as long as they're there for the duration.
yeah, for set up and,
3-hour request from them. But yeah, things as far as just basically being like, ask me, or I'm looking for this, or I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. That's
Where-
first inside City Hall.
where's the presentation? You know, where do I get my tickets for the, you know, food, you know, that kind of stuff. And I did, when I sent that email to Rebecca, I did outline all that stuff, but maybe it would be better to go ahead and just send a sign up Jesus.
currently have 16 organizations under the president.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's going to stretch that plaza a little more than last year, which would be nice. Good test run for welcoming week. See how things feel with more people in the plaza, more groups.
Well, we did put a little blurb in the upcoming summer newsletter about Juneteenth and welcoming. So we can get the word out on those. Anything else in Juneteenth?
Not on wood that we don't have this kind of weather for it.
Yeah. Lightning strike in the middle, that'd be nice to not have that.
But no, everything's going together. We're a lot further ahead than we were last year. Our group is a lot more diversified as far as planning, which is nice. And Snow Isle was able to lock in their funds to be able to cover the food trucks and everything. So we have L&S Soul Food and Dancing Kitchen as our 2 food vendors this year, with a very diverse, total different offerings, which is going to be nice. Nothing will be there for that. And I think there's the focus of father figures this year, in perspective of that and what that means. It's not just fathers, it's the people who have made a difference in people's lives. And so it's trying to highlight and encourage people to bring out those figures that meant something to them to be able to participate with them. And a couple of the local churches said they would also promote it after service to have people come out for it. So that was cool too.
All right. Do you want to talk about film festival?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you want to talk about the film that we were discussing, about having a showing of the film at the library?
Oh, that's Native American.
Sugar cane.
Sugar cane.
Did there anybody?
I watched half of it so far.
Yeah.
And I see what you meant by disturbing.
It's not light material.
No, not at all.
But if everyone is so comfortable with it, and if the commission wants to host something, I'm still open to it.
That's important stuff, but it's,
If it's too controversial, that's fine.
yeah, there's, some of the subject matter is pretty, you didn't see the whole thing.
I mean, I saw the part where the guy figured out that his father was.
Oh, yeah.
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 And after that scene, I realized, oh, this is what.
Well, that wasn't the only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you see?
Shoot.
Yeah, it was on
So
Hulu.
who?
What might be topical is the end, where he gets an apology. Remember that?
Don't ruin it.
Yeah, it's on my list and I haven't.
I don't have Google. I just
No, I
want to
think it's
friends out when I
important.
run there.
If we're gonna vote on it, we ought to vote on it from. a position
Yeah, we
of having
can, people should
seen
see
it.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
It is, it's disturbing, but it's also, it's not only topical, just nationally, it's, I mean, this was happening, the story happens in Canada, the documentary is about an incident in Canada, but we had those schools in this state until 1981. I mean, that like is,
We literally had 10 times as many schools. There was, what, there was 1,200 schools in Canada, like 5,000 schools in the US.
yeah, and so, and more than one in this state,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's,
Anyway,
So they can talk next week.
Can I just ask from an event standpoint, as far as promoting our level, have you guys talked about the separation of ages or what?
well, that's,
Think about that?
that would be my concern, is that I don't think it's not suitable for, it's really not suitable for,
I just don't know if the library will.
Well, that-
Do an age differential, like.
Yeah.
No,
It's not.
and, yeah, because for sure elementary kids know, high school kids, I mean, it's really disturbing stuff, but it's like, we're erasing so much of our history that it's like, but it would be really tricky. I mean, watch it, it's,
well, if we're gonna promote it, we're gonna probably something about
But you're
this
saying that
is not suitable for.
the library
I don't
wouldn't,
know if I don't know if the library will allow you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Well, we could post it here, if we all decided that was what we wanted to do, the library wasn't willing to do it, or couldn't restrict it.
Or if there was, if we did a simultaneous event in the small room that wasn't the movie for parents to.
That's just the event side of it, so I was thinking.
yeah, no, that's good information.
Requested, I think the 10 people under this age, or, yes, but I just don't know if the library will let you have a public that does not allow anybody. And then what pushback that may come.
Well, for instance, I think if like a teacher tried to show it at the high school, it would, yeah, that would still be.
It's not, it's not in common sense media yet.
It was on Hulu when I watched it. Yeah.
So common sense media is like a gut check for parents, like,
Oh, okay.
what kind of content is this, and is it, it's not there yet.
I mean, it's not a time sensitive topic anyway, we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a, yeah.
Posters,
Nice.
and I think they're all on socials now. If you find either the library or the city.
I did share that with Tribeca and the art teacher, because I was hoping the art teacher, I said, you know, click on the QR code and, or, you know, do the QR code, because there's a lot more specific information about what the event is. But I thought might be helpful.
Not sure if you've heard, but there will be a parade, but no festival this year.
Okay.
We did talk about being in the parade, I think yesterday was reserved. And we also thought about inviting, Linwood DEI, we can invite anyone who's left over from the Athens DEI Commission, or affinity groups from different, efforts that we hear about to march with us. And we were sort of thinking of, we were trying to think about like, what is it that we're gonna do as a group? And I just threw out some ideas, and it's just an opportunity to have a conversation. We don't have to go with this, but we could carry our banner, but we could also carry some flags of the different, efforts that we're, you know, promoting and being advocates for. Or we could create signs, or we could do both, like, but we could have signs, you know, nice graphically designed signs that are printed out that say things like, you're welcome here, love is love, you know, whatever messages that you want to share. Well, then we could do something with
festival.
This is the Mountlake Terrace Festival.
Oh.
That used to be the Tour de Terrace.
Oh, that one, okay.
And there's a parade, that the commission has marched in for the past couple of years. But we're kind of small, so we were trying to like create more of a presence by inviting some people to march.
So they,
Inviting people in?
being inclusive? So they weren't able to generate funding to do the bigger festival.
So are they having the Saturday, they're not having the Saturday thing at all? Are they still doing the Saturday?
Not really, they're only doing.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I like the idea.
Yeah.
Public's a parade doing it.
Will it be pretty much the participants from, because that's sort of a seafair sanction thing. Right?
Yeah, so the parade last year had 76 entries. And it runs from 234th all the way up to 22nd, into the same class parking lot.
Yeah.
The city has 6 groups represented this year. Recreation Parks Recreation Parks Aquatics, Recreation Parks Youth Programs, Dance Academy, Arts Commission, Diversity and Inclusion Commission, and Public Works.
You could do a dance.
Yeah.
Y'all start coming to our line dancing class on Thursday.
You're making along with this guitar. Let Crimson sing.
Yeah.
I'll be out of town.
If he wasn't already.
I don't want to go down there.
I did march on Stunty one time and we did it, it was a drill team thing, it was pretty fun actually, but it, that takes a lot more planning, maybe we wanna put into it.
Alright, well,
Do we have a date for this?
it is remember the date?
Wow.
July 18th.
Another thing called a budget.
So, we have a little time, if you don't like the session, you wanna come up with something else, that's totally fine. Like flags, we can order, they'll be here in a week or so. And then signs, we can just develop in-house and print, or get them printed.
If we are going to increase more than the 7 people I put, I would need to just have a little heads up to increase our numbers.
Okay.
Or just
There's
staging
no
area.
for that.
No.
I-
request the numbers so they can kind of gauge how much space to.
Okay, yeah. I need to invite Doug and Linwood and, yeah, just if there are any other groups, like if we want to invite Edmonds Pride, or we want to invite,
Anybody who's had any
who would have
conversations
to
with,
register to be in the parade, kind of.
That's a long walk to be doing that. But yeah, anybody through community conversations or anybody who participates in our events, if you guys want them to be there. I just need a general number increase from the 7 that I put down.
I do like the idea of signs that say things, because I think that we can, because, you know, the common question is, what do you guys do? So we could develop signs that sort of spell that out a bit more.
I should know, I just saw it this weekend, but does the sign say, does it say DEI Commission, or does it say Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission?
I think this is, yeah, it's our logo. So we could print a different sign that we hold.
Oh, maybe, yeah, even
But
just
just
around
use
the
it.
words, right?
Yeah. Or signs with the words, yeah.
I think it says it too.
Does it?
Yeah.
It's just smaller.
Yeah, it's smaller. It's under, yeah, it has the logo and then it's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
Okay.
Under it.
Well, if you want to help me brainstorm on like what you want to say on signs, we can work on designing some fun. And if you want to change the banner, we can just send me ideas. Linwood. And Edmonds Pride. I don't know if there's any other groups. Okay. Welcoming week. You want to do a little recap of what we just did?
Sure. We just met with the Arts Advisory Commission. As Welcoming Week will be held on September 20th this year, to remove the conflict of having 3 city events on the 13th, which also coincides to be the first day of the Arts of the Terrace Street Art Show. And so we may be moving the time to start at the same time as the art show opens. So instead of a noon to 3, doing it like an 11 to 2. So that we both could kick off at the same time. Moving it to the civic campus here would do a road closure similar to Juneteenth and the tree lighting to be able to allow for more organizations to attend and be able to kind of overflow into on the 58th with that as well. But also create a joint effort as far as marketing and foot traffic for people who may just be coming to the area for the art show that don't know that we aren't operating other things and may want resources for our community. But also people coming to Welcoming Week who may not know that there's an art show down the road. To utilize our marketing with theirs as well to kind of cross promote when we're doing the planning process of, there are 2 things happening in this area, as well as our A-frames around with what's going on. Since our event would only be during part of their event, we would open the road back up once we are done and people are out of the street. But it would be closed off to a pedestrian walkway during that time, which would be from 232nd to the entryway of the parking lot, just south. here if we want to. And if we want to line the street with them and kind of utilize the plaza for more seating area and kind of have engagement. If we wanted to put them in the plaza like we do for Juneteenth, that would just kind of change a little logistics wise, go from there. But going off last year's event, really trying to push the marketing and making sure people want to be involved who are around here. I know a couple of new partners have reached out to be a national out, and so we'll try to pull some of them as well for this event too. But I think having a bigger visual for this event and being outdoors and being able to give people the opportunity to come to two different events that the city has can down the road tandem together two different commissions and what the city's about can be helpful. Potentially also partnering with local businesses if they want to, whether we don't want to take business away from the neighboring restaurants and stuff. So whether they want to try to cross market or if they want to sponsor the event in one way, shape, or form and have like an area where they just promote their businesses, things like that. Or option also to have food trucks there for a short window of time. It can be go either way. It's just whether that's something that the commission wants to think about. Kind of like what we do for 3rd of July, where they can pay a small deposit to come in. There's no guarantee. It's not a 10,000 person event, but if they want to come set up and commit to it, then we can do something like that too. So I would need to know that sooner than later, just to try to get on the radar and see who wants to buy into it, who wants to be a part of it. And who knows, maybe down the road, Welcoming Week food truck rodeo happens and have a very wide variety of food offerings too. And, but I want to be aware of that as well as if we're looking for different cuisine that we kind of what we're looking for, and then I bring those to you guys to help with the approval process, so it's not city staff selecting.
I wanted to just check in. I think we have divided up the list, and I just wanted to see if you had a chance to send them. And if you don't, I can send them. It's no problem. I don't
I'm
want.
pretty sure I sent that. Let me check.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you
I have a list of about 9 people to send to.
I
And
think all
I'm
of
pretty
mine.
sure I sent those.
I've gotten 1 no and 1 yes. Okay. And I have to do this.
Okay. And
The no was from 7, so the one.
okay. Yeah. Did you send the link to the survey monkey for them to write? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
they were
we did the
in that.
hyperlink. So they should reach out that way.
I have not because I'm waiting to have people respond first before I confuse them about another event they thought they registered for and signed up for.
They were reaching out, the Red Cross.
They did. Okay.
Yeah, she
I'll
said
go
that.
check mine. Cheryl,
Yeah, Cheryl.
this is my thing right now because there's so many people.
Yeah. We do have a handful of people who have RSVP'd already for one. And I think if we change the time, I mean, I don't know, if we start at 11, do we want to just keep it till 3? I mean, that's only 4 hours.
Yes.
I
just think that if they start at 11, I don't want to close the road right after they start.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be closed a little before they open,
Yeah.
and then kind of keep that flow and open it when we're done.
Yeah.
That'd be
So
my
maybe 11
idea.
to 3. Are
Yeah.
people comfortable with that?
Another week.
Okay. Well, okay. Materials. And then we're working on some graphics for a poster. And as soon as we get that out, we can do another blast to remind to register. And then we need to work on some of the activities and the performances. And I think we just have to balance the activities and performances because, well, first of all, let's give Scott and Kermit kudos for Saturday because they introduced it. Yeah, the Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Festival was amazing. It was so much fun.
People really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a lot of people. And I think there is this balance between the booth, informational booth, and the event, like the performances, you know, and I think the first hour before like the dancers came on, the booths were getting good attention. And then afterwards, everyone was like, oh my God, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
And that's fine. I think we just have to be like, mindful of like, how heavy is the entertainment factor when the goal of the event is to share information. So is it like a smaller, lower key thing? Is it more like family fun activities than like music and performance, or like the drill team, which would be a short, like 10 or 20-minute ordeal, you know? So
Could you separate out the performances so that there would be like, you know, performance and then say, we've got like X amount of time before our next group comes on, so
yeah,
take advantage of our, you know, participants over here or whatever. Because that would be, you know, because people would stick around because they wanted to watch the next thing, so they'd have to do something.
So we're in traffic.
Well, maybe a little bit, but.
We've had I've had PTA meetings before school concerts because I had a captive audience that was just waiting for their kids to go on at the early.
Yeah.
So it's just using your resources wisely.
Yeah, so it's a timing issue, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we don't fill the entire performance schedule.
Yeah.
If we had 30 groups confirmed, we may not add more.
yeah. And I think just having like even encouraging the vendors, like I loved that little skee ball thing that Recreation brought.
Yeah.
She built that for a parents' night out. Like she built 4 of them
Yeah.
for kids to play during their parents' night out.
Oh.
So they came. So
Oh,
she
wow.
did, yeah, just by hand. She's like, oh, I do this. And she's like,
But I
cool, can I
mean,
bring it? I was
we
like,
could
"Yeah."
do some like low key fun little games and things. Like, in the
But-
process.
It was nice having that big open space.
Yeah.
Kids were running around in there and playing with those balls.
And performances in the plaza will definitely be a different logistics.
Oh, yeah.
As well for Welcome Week, if we were trying to have music or actual performances just because it is outdoor, you're not going to have necessarily the same sound setup, spacing.
Mm-hmm.
You can think about that. If you want to do it like we do for Terrace Summer Nights and just have one outlet kind of set up and let people who are going to perform be up there, or if it's going to be more of like way back where it's just like, all right, hey, they're going to be the drum circle at this time, come over to the tent and do it and whatnot.
Did Wayback ever say they're coming to GD?
Nope, haven't heard yet. I'm sure they will.
And come in tomorrow night. You can talk to them.
So,
All right. Well, that's great. Thank you all for your brainstorming on that.
One thing I'm not clear about is, so for the food, are you asking us to go to the restaurant and ask them, or no? Did I misunderstand that?
no, that is something that more likely I will do.
Okay.
Because we're trying to figure out, that's going to be part of the conversation that you guys need to have more in depth is,
Okay.
are we looking to have requests that food trucks come and have kind of narrow it down or see if you guys want to reach out to them? And I'll give you basically a framework to work within. To
Okay.
communicate with food trucks, or do you want to try to just encourage people to go to the businesses that are right there, since we're only going to be operating for a couple hours before we open the road back up?
Okay. So for now, we don't have anything to use.
That is up to you guys to make a call for that.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to bring food vendors in, we just need to decide soon.
I think that's the businesses locally first. It'll be our first time here in a different location.
So are you still talking to West Plaza?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to see if they want to have a presence and offer coupons or encourage people to go there?
And I'll be talking with Kurt when he's back in town for his region.
Or have like the pie company come sell cookies? Or something.
Yeah, I think my initial conversation was that he was intrigued by it,
Mhm.
but then he would want to talk to businesses on his end
Mhm.
instead of us going to individual ones where it's like, hey, we're doing this as a group. Do we want to come and like unify versus do they want to?
Sell some beef jerky and hot sauce.
Yeah, they just have tents down there and just kind of say like, this is who we are, this is what we're doing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're right behind here. Go walk up and check it out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Mini cups of
So I have this request for a donation for an awesome cause. I don't have all the answers yet. So there's a group of, I think, parents or PTA type folks working with a staff person to host a Spanish language graduation at Mountlake Terrace High School for all seniors in the Edmond School District who are Spanish speakers or families are Spanish speakers. So there's that, so that their families can fully appreciate the event. And they wanted to make it special and have like mariachi band and special gifts for the graduates and so forth. And they were trying to raise money and they were asking us for a donation. However, I asked who's collecting the money because if it's a city funded donation, we would need it to be an IRS.
Like a booster with a nonprofit status.
Yeah, or a nonprofit or a school district or
EIN.
whatever. And I've asked the question twice so the past couple weeks and I still don't have an answer. So the other option would be if it's not, it's like an official organization behind it, we could collectively try to raise a few dollars to share with them with our own money if we felt desired. But I don't have that answer. So, but I'm open to conversation just one way or another so I know how to move forward. Because this will probably happen before our next meeting. I have to tell them. Yeah.
So unified out if they have a 501c3.
Yeah. So if they had a 501c3, what would your answer be? And if they don't, would you be willing to donate any of your own money? And they didn't ask for that. I just thought, like, if they're not that organized, like, what would you? Andrew, we could say next year.
Well, it's kind of short notice,
Yeah.
isn't it? If they need special
What is it?
accommodation to be able to.
Graduation's in June.
Yeah, like probably the second week of June
Oh,
would be my guess.
I mean, it's a
Never
great
have to make
idea.
up notice.
how would we promote it?
We don't have to do
Or-
anything.
They just want
They
money.
just want money. Yeah.
Yeah, no, how would we
Oh.
promote the ask?
Asking people.
Yeah.
I mean, if they have a GoFundMe page, if they send it to us, and if the people are willing, they can share it on social
That's
media.
probably the best.
As a
way.
person.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really hard because there's so much going on that people asking for funding for school. Yeah, definitely. So it was a creative, workaround or request.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's a cool idea. I mean, I can see why that would be really meaningful. But
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. What we've all been waiting for. All right. I've been diving into some data going back to 20 and 21.
Oh. Is that when this started?
So the commission was formed in 2020, and there's no staff person at that time who was designated to work on diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives. And the city manager, I believe, was doing what I'm doing, being the staff liaison for the group. And the council directive is broad in general. And so the commission was seeking feedback from the community about a number of things. And so they held some listening sessions in 2021, and then they started the online survey that we were somewhat familiar with in 2022. And so the listening sessions and the survey kind of were asking these types of questions. And they had 2 listening sessions in 2021, and they were virtual because, of course, it was COVID. And to back up just for a minute, I think you all know this, but in 2020, the commission was formed sort of at the heels of the George Floyd incident and all the other
barriers people experience and so forth. So they met with about 20 people during these virtual meetings, and then there was this online survey, and over the course of many years, we only got 24 people to respond, and that's why we ended up going in a different direction in doing these community conversations to try to take a different approach. So I'll share what we heard through the virtual meetings and the online survey will be combined. So there was general agreement that Mountlake Terrace is inclusive, welcoming, and accepting of people of diverse backgrounds. It's a safe place to live, and that the city is supportive of the well-being of all people, and that of the people that we spoke to, almost everyone felt like DEI was important to the community. So it was good. There were many comments about like where we could do better in communicating with groups of people in our community, and these were the groups that people thought we needed to do a better job in reaching and building relationships. And this is now loaded on the internet, so you can have that. Safety, there were like a lot of phrases, descriptions, words, and so I sort of culminated them into a combination of things that were themes that I kept hearing. So one is people wanted to see activated, like bustling businesses of a diverse nature in clean, low crime neighborhoods, and that people felt more welcome when there was some kind of sign, like if it was a welcome sign, if it was like the pride flag in the window, if there was just some signal that they were welcome to enter that business. Those were things people were looking for. They were also looking for, I can't tell you how many times cultural events and festivals were mentioned for different reasons. And so it was a way to represent communities, to go and feel like you belonged and that you were welcome, to meet other people, to share your culture, to feel safe. Like these were all like different reasons that events were important to people. It was very interesting. And and then also just this was from many years ago, but that we want to make sure that we design those events in partnership with the communities that we're trying to represent. And trying to do that. There's always room for improvement. The last part is a well-designed active transportation infrastructure. So we have a great transit station now, we have regional bus service, but we still have room for improvement on building accessible sidewalks, bike lanes, crosswalks, things like that. And that was good lighting, nice green landscaping, and a clean environment are also things that contribute to feeling safe. I wasn't here when these questions were asked, so the question was, what is DEI? And there were a lot of random comments, and I just tried to culminate some of them as best I could. So those were three things that came out of that. And there's a lot more on the next one, which was, what should the commission do? And I really think this also means, what should the city do? Right? So the commission is part of the city, and you're volunteers, and we all do the work together. So, and I think like these are great, and I think we're doing some of them, and so that's great, and I think we're all headed in the right direction. So, you know, engage with the community, with the school district, which we've been doing a great job of, and thankfully for Benita's support and connections. Create a youth council, I think that's a challenge, but I think it's a really great idea, but I'm also like, what are we doing with the youth council, and how do we have a program that brings them along? And but maybe that would work better than having youth on a commission, I'm not sure. I think we should continue that conversation about what that looks like and who manages that and what are the issues that we bring to that group, and is it really more educational or is it both educational and informational? So,
We'll say Linwood's in the process of kicking one off.
Yeah.
So then we'll have a local or, jurisdiction to look to who's ahead of us in those conversations if we decide to do that.
I think we can make it. Any questions? And interact with community ambassadors, just that one was really about like there's leaders in different communities, whether it's community, African community, but making sure that we have relationships with those leaders so that we have good connections into those communities.
I think we're doing that right.
We're trying to do.
Yeah.
So then we asked people about barriers. Did these look like rocks?
Oh, no, what it is.
I really got carried away at 11 o'clock last night. I'm really not sure if I like this slide, but.
Computer access, that would be the library though.
No, this is more about, I'll explain. So some people can't access City Hall when we're open.
Mhm.
Like because maybe they have a job where, they can't even pick up the phone between 8 and 5, right?
Yeah.
And then another way you can communicate with the city is through the computer, right? Like you can email us, you can submit a permit online, those kind of things. But there are some people who still either don't have access to a computer or aren't very proficient. And so that was more of the computer access issue. And then there's people who might have access to a computer but aren't English proficient. And, Google Translate only does so much. And then if you have a PDF, it's not translated. And so there's challenges with all those things. And then ADA access, we talked about that being the physical access primarily. But I think housing, affordable housing and transportation were definitely big ticket items as well. And people talked about people experiencing homelessness and needing like temporary shelters and services for them. So,
The access to the city, actually, personally, like, for example, passport application is always a challenge for me. Because I think it's great that our city now accepts it, but I cannot use it. There's timing. Like, the time of the day when they're open. So I see that.
Again, events help cultural understanding and creative opportunity. A big theme to kind of reduce barriers, to help people feel like they can get out in the community. That city staff and the community need to understand DEI issues, systemic racism, that we could broaden our recreation programs to address needs of newer members of our community, different populations, and that some of those folks need financial assistance. And we do have scholarships, and not everyone knows about them. Please tell people. That we need to make it more transparent about how to get hired by the city for a job or to get a contact with the city, and to maybe make that process easier. And we talked a lot about community engagement strategies that reach underrepresented communities, and that staff should reflect the demographics of the city to better understand the community. So what is good in Mountlake Terrace? Events, can I just not say enough about events?
That was pretty good. Now I really want to hear what
I really do.
We're good with 3 events, we're good.
Andrew's name gonna come up in one of these.
Yeah.
This is all pre-me. This is only 3 events.
Yeah, this is from like 21. Yeah. Because we don't have.
That's
Yeah.
on the map too.
So, and then there were these questions about like, what is racism? What is anti-racism? And I just tried to take that data and culminate it into what people said, but make it sort of an action item. So, there's a lot here, so just take a minute.
I think we're doing most of it. I think we're on track.
I was thinking the same thing, without a lot of patting ourselves on the back, there's a lot happening, especially since 21.
I just don't know how to create safe places for people of color.
Yeah.
Because that will be segregation.
There are like buildings that are considered safe places. Like there's a little sticker you put in your window if you like you're feeling.
Safe place initiative.
Yeah, it's a safe place initiative. It's a recreation center one.
Mhm.
Yeah, and sometimes like private businesses will be part of that program. And I'm not sure if that's what they were talking about.
And what's that mean actually? I see those stickers.
So what it means is it is a safe place where if you are experiencing any form of aggression from somebody, hostility, anything where you feel like you're unsafe in any way, shape, or form, mentally, physically, verbally, all location, you come there, staff there, and then would request that the person you're trying to get away from not enter the building, and can also act on your behalf to protect you from, as a barrier, request police presence. So you were able to come in without questions, say, I need a safe place to be right now, I cannot be outside, can't be by the window, go down the hallway, sit there, remove yourself from the situation.
Okay, so it's not just a sticker. I thought it was just a sticker saying, hey, I'm fine.
It's a business training that they will welcome you without questions asked if you are in time of struggle, unsafe situation. So you can come in and be able to be there. You don't have to be a paid customer. They just want you to make sure that you are safe and from that place of harm.
Thank you.
It's been coming up in the community page. Have you seen the buddy bench, or does everybody know what a buddy bench is for school kids?
Yeah. Buddy bench.
Buddy bench.
Yeah.
So like, if your best friend is homesick, and you go out to recess and you have no one to play with, you go sit on the buddy bench, and then somebody will notice you're there and they'll go play with you, invite you to play the games. And so it's this thing that kids have been doing. It's like came up. And so there's one at Terrace Park and there's one at Mountlake Terrace Elementary. And because the school grounds are open to the public during non-school hours, people are like, we need a buddy bench for like regular people, not just kids. Like when you're feeling sad or like on that same vein of safe space.
One of the things that I've been trying to learn more about is acknowledging and addressing trauma that people have faced. And I'm planning to bring in a consultant this fall that I hope all of you will be able to be part of to do some training on community engagement when we roll out the community engagement plan. And she does a really great segment on how we do community engagement and acknowledging people in the room who may have experienced trauma, especially when we're talking about these kind of issues. And making sure that when you walk in the room as the facilitator, that you're not bringing your trauma with you, whether it's your daily trauma or your like past experience trauma, and like how you work to make yourself, that you're in a positive space to do that work, because it's sort of this like, it's all of these things together, right? And so I don't have a lot of education in that, but I'm like learning more about it, and I think it's an interesting perspective to think about like how we care for our community when we meet with them, and what do we do when someone like shares a whole bunch of information with you or doesn't share, and you're trying to understand how to connect with them.
Yeah. Kind of a segue to the.
Yeah. All right, so now we're on to community conversations. We've had the 4 conversations, and we can still, and we should still continue to have this a never-ending process. But here's what we heard, and I'm hoping to turn this part into a video that we put on our website to share, because we said we'd share the results with the community, and I was hoping to share them after each meeting, but I didn't get. So,
I'm curious.
if you can imagine a happy voice that's more enlightened than mine, narrating this. You feel welcome when someone greets you, smiles, waves, starts hello, when someone sees you, like if they make eye contact with you. You feel welcome when a business welcomes you with signs, the salesperson greets you and knows your name, your order, and they're respectful. You feel welcome when your neighbors talk to you, invite you, include you. You feel welcome when the neighborhood feels welcoming, is clean, well lighted, has flowers or plants. People feel safe from traffic, and the city is easy to navigate. Sound similar?
Post the pictures of Marshall and that front one. It's like not super obvious what it is. Something with the taster.
Oh,
yeah. I did that, or I just spent too much time on Tumblr. No, I love it.
You feel welcome when there are events and community activities that are inclusive and offer opportunities to meet people. You feel welcome when my voice is heard. Places are accessible. I feel respected. And then we segue into what I love about Mountlake Terrace. It's walkable. We have access to transit. There are events.
You had too much praise, you couldn't handle it. Lots of classes,
The daycare, the summer camp, the before and after school care, and the aquatics program. We love our police department and that they help us feel safe.
But they don't let you shoot down the drone. I love his face when I ask that.
People really love the library and our businesses and the small town feel.
Yeah, I like that.
And they think we're doing a pretty good job of community engagement. And we know we all, like, given that we all know we have room to grow, like, I think there's been a lot of praise for that. And they like that we're trying to maintain our infrastructure and our parks. So I'm happy to, like, just have a little conversation about, like, how it makes you feel. Do you think that we like you were all part of these conversations? Do you feel like you captured what you heard? Or just any thoughts?
I looked on page 12.
What's that? Oh yeah, you missed.
Oh,
No, I
missed it.
was like, I'm gonna go get a snack real quick. Come back here on 34. I was like, oh. No, you don't need to recap to me.
I love events. Again, you love.
It's all free me though.
No, this was from community conversation.
Oh.
You left right before we started 25.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's 12. Okay, we got a while ago. Sorry.
I think it captured what I remember from my community. But you just smile like that was not a sarcastic comment.
No, I was turning to listen.
Oh, okay. Because she asked us what do you feel.
What? Nothing. Any other surprises?
I love the event, but none of the people that I had this really community conversation ever mentioned it. So I'm surprised to that. I'm surprised about that. But I like that small town plus the event actually makes it good.
So, we need to spend some time going through and recapping what we heard internally from the consultant who reviewed the policies and procedures internally. We have the 2 staff surveys, and then all of this feedback from the community to develop action items for the strategic plan. So I just wondered if you want to try to set a little time aside outside of the meeting, or just do it in a meeting, because our meetings tend to be kind of full. So, and I also could give you, probably the best way to do it is I could come up with the action items and you can vet them, but I also didn't want to take that away from you if you wanted to have more of a brainstorm and like a good 3 or 4 hours to think about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need more time. But the glaring thing for me in all of this, I'm really pleased with all of the feedback, is establishing an ambassador program. And I don't know how to go about doing that.
Well, I was going to talk a little bit about that in staff report.
You're doing her thunder.
But I can hold that thought.
I was just going to say, I think it would be a good starting point for us to have a list of action items that you come up with. I know we can still brainstorm about it, but as to the other question, I would prefer if we made it a part of our commission meeting. Maybe we can clear the agenda for that day.
Yeah, I think this is the better for.
Okay, no problem.
I just want to speak on behalf of the staff committee, as somebody who's on it. It's still new, but there's a lot of passionate. Everybody on the committee, on the staff side, is very passionate about finding change and how to implement that on the city side internally. And so we're trying to work with the commission and saying, you guys are doing so much outside for the most part and connecting with the community. But now how do we make sure that work is being done internally with the employees as well? And so there's a lot of good conversations. Last one, probably some more of this conversation of just going back and forth and sharing our perspectives of everything that are going on. And so we want to support what your guys' strategic plan is in partnership with the staff committee. And so that is one thing that we're eagerly awaiting and seeing happen while we're young in our process. We're only about 6 months, if that. Yeah. And so, but we do have staff here that are passionate about it and want to see how that can change as a whole.
Can they be also invited to the commission that we were talking about?
They could be invited. I think it's hard for, because it's at night, so it's like another 4 hours of their day.
I would also say that if you guys kind of create the base, and when we have our meetings, we can also review it. And if there's a cohesive one down the road, it'll probably be better too.
And I think they also will focus on the internal items more. And I don't think that either one of you should feel like you're excluded from reviewing either, because I know that this commission, when I first got here, was very interested in like hiring practices and personnel issues and things like that. Like there were a couple people on the commission who were just like really passionate, like we want to make sure our staff are taken care of and that people in the community know how to apply for a job and that there are opportunities for people of color to get through the process and not feel like they don't understand or there's barriers to accessing employment. So I think all those issues I think it's interesting, like sometimes we put ourselves in boxes, like we only do internal things and we only do external things. It's like, no, not really. It's not that clear. So
I think if she gets it. It seems like it's in the right direction. Just before it seems like a box of non-transparency.
So since you asked the question about community ambassadors, I think there could be two different groups. And one of my ideas was, for example, I believe we have 6 candidates for the DEI commission, and there's only 1 seat. We also have had a handful of people approach us at events, who've come to our meetings, who are like, I want to get involved, but I'm not sure I want to like actually apply to be on the commission. So we've thrown this ambassador term around a lot, but I think the first step could be to create sort of a subcommittee of this commission of those people that we just talked about, people who have an interest in either being on the commission or supporting the commission in some way or form. And they support us at events. Like they don't have to come to every meeting. They don't have to help provide input on the strategic plan or review tree ordinances or police code or whatever it is that we're working on. But they can truly be, we can have a short meeting before an event happens. We're like, hey, today we're out tabling and we're going to be, talking about middle housing and we want you to help us with that. So this is the primer and this is what we're doing, and so I think we need a lot more help at events and as we're growing them, and you all are very busy and you do amazing things, but I also know that it can be exhausting. And so I just want to make sure that we have enough people to do that. And one of the recommendations was like engage more community, right? So this could be like one way to just get some more involved people to help us with that. And so whether we call it community ambassador or you want to come up with a different name, so they would still be volunteers. And then the next step, which I don't think I'm personally ready for yet, I think we need more resources to do this, is what I would call the trusted community liaison. And that's when we would have a stipended position where we pull in those community leaders that we talked about earlier, the people who are leaders in the Latino community or the East African community or the Russian community and speak the language, and that they get paid a stipend to go into the community and either bring people to us or bring our information to them and provide us back with feedback. And I helped launch a program like that in Burien, and it takes a lot. And so I just don't want us to bite off more than we can chew. And I want to make sure that we get the resources we need to pull that off, because it's a big investment for us and for the liaison, the trusted community liaison. And it's, I felt like we had enough resources to do it in Burien when we started, but I also felt like I was surprised that we needed to spend more time and resources with these folks to get them up to speed and for them to feel comfortable that they knew enough, that they got their own questions answered. So it's like building a relationship with them, then providing them with the information that they need to do the work, and then having a shared vision of how they're going to do the work. And so it's really complicated. And because you're asking for a partnership, it's not like you're hiring an employee and you're like, this is your job, this is what you got to do. So it's really a partnership because you don't know the community they do, and so you're trying to navigate. So
I think it's a really great place to look forward in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that does sound like a huge undertaking.
Yeah, and it's not impossible. It's
yes.
When it's like I'm trying to give you all like my attention as a liaison to you, and I don't have enough time in my day to also do that, and I don't know anyone else in the city. So, and I don't think it should be a consultant. We use a consultant in Burien.
Is it going on in Burien right now?
I believe to some degree it is, but I haven't talked to the person managing it recently.
further, but that doesn't seem like it's gonna happen.
And Seattle does it, but they also have a lot of staff manage it. There's other models out there. Yeah. But
Cool.
so I just appreciate any thoughts you have about, like, we have these candidates that council's gonna interview soon for this commission. Like, should we propose to council more broadly this idea of proposing like this subcommittee idea?
Friends of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission. You have the Friends of the Library? Like the Friends.
Yeah, and I don't know if they need to be council appointed. I mean, I guess I don't know how this NCIS.
So NCIS does not, so we do have one subcommittee currently at the commission, and that group, well, I think it's staff appointed, but I mean, yeah, the council does not appoint the NCIS folks. So, there is definitely precedent for that not being a council process.
And it doesn't, I'm not trying to say that it shouldn't, but I also think it's like a more informal group. So, yeah.
They are actually there.
They apply to our packet, there's no for our pack select.
But you don't, because I was on NCIS, you don't, like, I didn't interview with our pack. Okay, so they just.
You basically say, I live within here, I'm interested in taking on responsibility.
Got it.
And then you can be selected as a
Okay.
That just happened with firefighters, I think.
What do they do if there's two people?
And they go through and they kind of do like their semi-interview process.
Okay.
You know, here are the criteria that we're asking for. You know, who is it? Would you be a secondary if they become unable to do so?
It's nice that people apply, that we have more than.
It is. I will say it.
And my worry is that if we just select, if the council just appoints one of them, the rest will be like rejected. And if they're interested, there should be some way to engage them, and the subcommittee might be one way of engaging them.
I will say that's something that the subcommittee of council who interviews boards and commissioners, we talk about every single time that we interview folks, because we are in a really great position and continue, honestly, it feels like to build this momentum further, the more people interested in serving, then we have positions to put them in, and it would be wonderful to have more places to be able to, like, have people feel like they have a way to engage.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Councilmember Murray, if you want, do we have a council update this week? No. No. Yeah, but I was gonna ask Jeff to put it in his Friday email and just see if there's any buy-in from council to that. That sounds good. Okay, great. Anything else on the strategic plan? Okay. On to the commissioner reports.
You go.
Right, okay, go.
You go first.
I go first?
Carolyn looks at you, we'll go around and do this.
I was at the Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander event last week. And I don't know what else I did, but put me down for that.
Wait, who can say it? Catherine.
I struggle with it.
Can I ask you a question? How many photos did you take?
Nice, yeah, that's awesome. Well, there were a few people that got in there.
More than one.
If you look through all of them.
Yeah.
They're up on the website.
Oh,
People have been downloaded. Oh, yeah. Children's Day. But I bow to Mr. Apio and his talented group.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
I also went to Children's Day and thought it was wonderful, because when I was a kid, I didn't even know where the city council building was. Like, I knew nothing about city government, so to see them actually get to sit in the chairs and take pictures, it was just awesome. And then I was also involved in an HPI Heritage Festival, and enjoyed it, and it should also be noted just how much Andrew and Carolyn get done in these things. It's really impressive, and I can't thank you both enough. And it was a blast for our first one. There's things to be learned from it, but man, it was a great event. I'm glad we did it.
People came and stayed.
Yeah.
We definitely have to figure out ways to get people back and forth between vendor and thing. And that's all solvable.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not really, I wouldn't be like complaining. I
No,
was
no,
sort of thinking
no.
like forward.
You're right though.
Yeah.
But we can, there's ways like Terrace was saying about, and then we talked about it that morning, but, there's a function of a host that could kind of let people know what's actually back there and everything. Remind them throughout between entertainment sessions. It can, But for the most part, I was glad that it was gonna happen and now I'm glad that it went well.
That was really great.
The Children's Day, thank you so much for supporting the event. That means a lot to me, but next year I really need to find a way to get more non-Turkish children. Because when I told Turkish people, like, hey, there's a Children's Day, just like in Turkey, they just flooded it a little bit too much. Yeah, I know, but it needs to be like more local, like this is not Turkish Children's Day. But they all want their children on stage, like, yeah, I want them on stage. That was really nice, and I attended the Turkmen Cultural Festival in Shoreline Community College on Sunday, and with no rehearsal or whatever, with my friends, we just got on stage and started playing, and now we are invited to weddings. That's not what we planned for, but in exchange for food, I'm gonna play other places. Are you shocked?
Make sure you bring Scott and take pictures.
Yeah, I offered money. I said no, I accept food.
Band and photos.
And I also thank you so much for the Children's Day. That's all.
I attended the Step Up Conference, which was really great. Really good keynotes, and I attended a couple of really interesting other sessions. Learned a lot, made some connections with some people there. And we already talked about the Juneteenth stuff, and I will follow up with Carla and try to get back to either me or her, but it'll probably be me getting back to you about that. And then we got the ANHPI. How was that? Not as fast as you. And really enjoyed that. I mean, people were, a couple of the women who were doing the Chinese dancing came up and we were talking. She goes, the oldest one of us is 86. And I said, wow. And she goes, yeah, the youngest is 70. And I said, well, I'm getting close to that. And she goes, oh, you're a baby. But they were so, I mean, I just loved it. They were so great. And then the sword dancers at the end, and your group was amazing. And people really, really were enjoying it. I mean, people came up to the table. They didn't ask a lot about DEI, but, well, there were some people that did, but I mean, it was really just appreciative of us having the event. So, yeah.
I went to a random batch audit, and then a risk limiting audit, both at the San Luis County Auditor's Office. Children's Day is Step Up to Leadership, and I like the keynote, especially the morning keynote.
Yeah, that was, I already ordered her book.
So good.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yep,
God.
it's on my list.
Yeah, it's called, I can't remember.
The kind of premise was about being, it's okay to be the villain in someone else's story if you're standing up for yourself.
Nice versus nerd.
Nerd, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you were there too, yeah. Very good, yep.
Attended a school board meeting, special education PTA. I did my very first community-based first aid CPR class that was specific and open only to people who live in the community. And so we had 3 people who live in Mountlake, Terrace took the class. I took my kiddo to a deaf event in Seattle on Mother's Day called Visual Vernacular, deaf event. Yeah. And it was called Visual Vernacular, and it was about sign language, and then storytelling, And so some of it was a little bit of science, but more of it was interpretation of telling the story. And so that was really interesting. Very cool. And then, and she was my translator because the people who were hosting the event were deaf, and so she had to be the one to talk to both of us. She's like, you can do it. And I'm like, I mean, I can do most of the alphabet. So she was talking and conversing and got us both headphones because there were going to be a couple of really loud parts because then it was about feeling the music. And yeah, that was really awesome. We went to a packing party immersion network for meal kits, and I accepted to be the that co-lead for the disaster action team for South Snohomish County. So another person and I will be leading all of the disaster action team responders.
And that's for the Red Cross.
Yes, that's for the Red Cross. And so we're focused on South County. So we love another couple of people. If you know of anybody interested in being a emergency responder for the Red Cross or other positions, I can connect you there. And I submitted my name to be on the Snohomish County Charter Review Commission, so I will be on the ballot in November for one of 3 positions for our district.
What does it do?
So every 10 years, there's a commission that gets together and reviews the Snohomish County Charter document and sees what changes or information should be made and makes recommendations to the county council and then puts measures on the ballot for November 26th. So it's 1 year, mostly in the first 6 months process across the whole of Snohomish County.
A lot of people interested in it.
I know. Top 3 vote getters go out of 8. Yeah, so it's 3 reps per district.
Oh, I see. That's when it's coming.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So the people who live in like Briar and Linwood, I forget who our council person is, but whoever votes for that district council person, they're the only ones who would vote for their charter review people.
Oh, so we don't vote in Mountlake?
We do.
So we're gonna get ballot in November?
Yes. Yes. And it's at the very end, after a very long ballot, and it'll have like 8 names. And I do want
Yeah, the primary in August.
no primaries. Yeah,
Not
there
for
will be
that, but
primary.
for some things there'll be a
Yes,
primary.
there will be also a primary, including some for city council. I think there might be on the primary. I've been following that closer than I ever have before. I didn't know where that database was.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for all the things that you've been doing. That's just amazing. And just one recap on Children's Day before we move on. Do we want to be thinking next year about doing something more about like a day in government? Where I think some of us were talking about that?
No.
Okay. But it can be different things, but it could be something after school, just to learn more about what government does, and it could be maybe for slightly older. I don't know. It could be for different age groups, or it could be for slightly older kids. I did participate in when I worked at City of Redmond. We had a high school civics class come spend this day at City Hall once a year. And it was a big lift, like staff teams broke up. We had a project for them to work on. And so we divided into groups and the kids rotated through the different groups. And so, like 1 year we worked on one of my projects, which was designing a regional trail with public art and dealing with road crossings and dealing with all these different kind of issues. Like we had to put utilities in the corridor and like, how are we going to fit all this stuff? And so part of it was like a design exercise and part of it was learning about like the parameters you have to work within, and part of it was community engagement and just like helping them understand like all the steps we have to take to build something that they could use in the future. That was just one example. There were other years that we had different projects, but I'm not sure if I could get all the staff to commit to doing something that engaging and that time consuming, but I'm open to ideas about like if you want to do something more with youth and like how we get them involved with, for like having a better understanding of what they're looking for. We don't have to answer today, but I would throw it out there.
What's the high school do? Does the high school have the civics?
Yeah, there's a civics requirement for graduation, I think, for one of the pathways at least. And then, they do elections, like they understand the election process, because they do, ASB leaders and, class, president and treasurer and secretary, vice president. And they do that at the middle school as well, where they have, the 8th graders are president, vice president, and then the 7th graders are treasurer, secretary, and then those 4 leaders are elected across the school student body. So they kind of understand the process, and then they have meetings to figure out what their project of work is going to be. So that might be really interesting to get, like, everybody who's running for something, like, what are you? That would be really cool. And then for the elementary school, 3rd grade and up, or 4th grade and up, they have a student rep, and basically it's like a mini summit. And so there's 2 students from each class for 4th grade and up, and they get together for ASB meetings. And then they're supposed to take the information and go back to their class and share it out, and then bring feedback. So one time they made brainstorm suggestions for what the movie should be. They do, they pick like dress-up days or dance themes, stuff like that. So, yeah. There's little bits of it in the school, but mixing that in.
All right, so staff report, we don't have any high school candidates for the commission, so we're gonna keep the seat open until we have candidates, so continue to scout about for people. I am sharing this rare disease fair, which might be an opportunity for us to get acquainted with the disability community that we just talked about. It's in Everett on June 14th, so it will focus more on like our Snohomish County community-based service organizations. So I just want to share that. And tomorrow night is the State of the City. I think a lot of you are going to that. It's RSVP, so if you haven't, we're full, sorry. And I just wanted to mention that next month, Andrew's going to lead this meeting in my place because we are having regional aquatics partnership meeting at the same time with some of our other cities. And so that'll be in the council chamber. So I'll be here, but I feel like I need to go to that. So,
Is he bringing food?
he knows that.
One thing I do just want to say, like, as far as events go, I don't get to hear a ton more recently than not, but if you guys have an event that you've been to and you're going to go to and you want to try to do something like it, not like Terrace, like just send an invite to me and let me know, okay, you know, I've been to this before. I really kind of want to feel like, are we able to pull something like this off? That way, like, you don't have to necessarily try to explain it to me. I can go with you, kind of see different events and how they're setting it up and say, okay, these elements we can definitely pull into here. We're trying to block events. If you guys have things like that, don't hesitate to reach out. If it's a weekend that I don't have something else event-wise going on.
Does that ever happen?
I try to do that.
Money for punishment.
Yeah.
I told my family.
Last night.
I somehow missed it.
Oh, you're right.
Oh,
You're right.
that's
right. It's one of the movies.
I've never seen it. That's gonna be my first time seeing it.
You
Really?
That's right.
Oh my God.
Oh, my goodness.
I was told that I have to watch it. I was like, I'm not gonna watch it until I'm there.
I'm
because
so jealous of
everybody-
you seeing it the first time.
Yeah.
So
Is
jealous.
it gonna be
Yeah.
magical?
It's gonna be like theater.
I haven't seen it for a long time, but
But yeah, so if you guys ever do have those events, definitely just reach out to me. I want to kind of figure out how to support you guys in your events and what you guys want to see. But I only have my perspective of things and would love to try to incorporate different.
she's, leading up a new community engagement outreach for the league.
Okay.
And specifically focusing on, BIPOC communities.
Okay.
Strictly, yeah. So she's reaching out to Black youth and community groups, and she's digging in all over.
Okay, I'll follow up there a little more.
So she submitted her tabling event, and I'm going to not be doing that, I think, June 1st, but I'm still running the table for the week.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm their coordinator. I tell them, yes, there's equipment available, and I will meet you at the shed here on this day. That's awesome.
Any new business for next month that you want to put on the agenda?
I don't have
Or news to share that we haven't shared?
it. When is your last meeting? You
I reapplied.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's right. I know
Hey.
my seat. It's William's seat, because I reapplied.
God, what do you mean you're
evaluated?
When
I was
are we
like,
getting rid of you?
Are you kicking me off?
Yeah.
If I missed another one,
You're
I
supposed
reapplied.
say anything, yeah.
So I assume I'm reappointed, if I ask.
You have to go through the process.
Okay.
Everybody goes through the
Okay.
process.
Hey.
So otherwise
Or
it'd be
meeting
June,
recommendation.
the June meeting. Would be my last one if I'm not reappointed.
Yeah. I didn't want to let this by. Same thing. And, yeah, and recommendations abound at this table. Hey, thank you.
Do you ever do CPR research?
Yeah,
Because I probably should do that for my baby. Before my baby comes.
yeah, I have one at Mountlake Terrace Library. On the 25th.
Good night.
Oh,
Good night.
Andrew, you're in a book.
I'm not leaving.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure I told you before you leave.
May 25th?
On the 4th?
Oh, so this weekend.
Yeah. You can test out of all the stuff you know and then you write on pushback.
Oh, okay.
I know.
I mean, I'm past due for my research.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
But you can test out of everything that you know and then you
Oh,
do the hands-on stuff and go
Okay.
over the key points
What?
that you already know. And I only have one person signed up for that. They found it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
They're not in
How
charge.
do I sign up?
I will
just send you a
just send,
thing?
yeah, I'll just send you the, what email address? do you want?
Here, let me just write it down for you. But yeah, it probably shouldn't be on my official.
Yeah.
Carolyn, thank you very much.
And so like it was one of those, oh,
For everything that you do for this commission, continue to move this forward.
like maybe like that, right? But like.
Well, and
like, in 6
I
months
never.
ago,
There you go.
we wouldn't be here without you.
Thank you.
Glad you think so.
Well, I always
Thank you,
wonder
guys.
what we'd do without you, and then now
Thank
Andrew
you,
is so
Scott.
You're
entwined
welcome.
here, I don't know what we'd do without him either.
We're not gonna get into that.
Yeah, so there is a new history of
Okay,
Mountlake
that's Teresa.
book,
Yeah.
and I got it in the